Our job, we're marketers. We have to be able
Mm.
to market a property and make it stand out from everybody else, because when you put your house on the market, you're actually entering into a competition. And how can you get buyers to buy your house? That's my job. I'm looking for that buyer who's going to pay more money than anybody else and write an offer on your house and get it sold.
My name is Kevin McIntosh, and this is The Closing Table, where we talk to experts about their experience in real estate all across the country. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Closing Table podcast. I am your host, Kevin C. McIntosh. And joining us on this episode, excited to talk to her, share knowledge about what's going on in her real estate market. We want to welcome Lisa Bibbee to the Closing Table. How are you, Lisa?
I'm fantastic. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Yes, excited to be here. Excited to have you here. Thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule to be here. We definitely appreciate that. So, Lisa, let's talk real estate. But before we get into that, let's talk about the real estate professional herself. I want you to talk about who you are outside of real estate in 60 seconds or less, please.
Well, that's a big question, but I love the outdoors, especially, in real estate. It's a very stressful business sometimes. So I like to relax and get out into nature, everything from kayaking. We do ice fishing. I'm a big gardener, so I love to get my hands dirty and play with the plants.
Nice, nice. That's one of the things that I always say that I want to get into,
Yeah.
gardening and growing my own foods and fruits and vegetables, but I just never make time for it. So I want to applaud you for that, because that's one of the things that I want to do. I just don't get around to. I think that's a great skill to have.
It starts with one plant. Just get one.
That's a great point. That's a great point, Lisa. Okay, cool. So we are here to talk real estate business. So let's talk about your real estate business. I want you to just describe your real estate business, and your operations, how you have things going on. If you are able to touch on a few key things, how long you've been licensed, what you consider your niche or specialty, and or some of your notable achievements.
Yeah, thank you. So I've been in this business licensed for just over 7 years. Kind of grew up in this business. My parents were realtors at one point. I've had numerous friends in the business. And even though I owned another business for about 20 years, it was time to get my license and go full time in real estate. So I absolutely love this business. My specialty, I have discovered over the past 7 years, I love finding really unique properties for people. So, whether
Mm.
they're homes that are on lakes or back up to state parks, I find that oftentimes people have these needs that just doesn't fit your criteria, your subdivision type home. And I'm able to help find their perfect dream home. So, I love that about it. It makes it really exciting and unique. And then as far as notable achievements, I would say probably my biggest achievement over the last couple of years has been getting all of my buyers' offers accepted on the first time,
Ooh.
except for two. And
Okay.
theirs was on the second. But
Mm-hmm.
that's really notable because over the last couple of years, it has been so highly competitive with everybody doing things from waiving appraisals to inspections to literally handing over their firstborn child. A lot of realtors are writing anywhere from 10 to 15 offers before getting them accepted. So I thought that was a really huge accomplishment. And ultimately, it saved my buyers a lot of time and emotional roller coaster by just, hey, we want this home. And guess what? They got it.
Yes, absolutely. Especially in the way things have been going the last couple of years, with so many offers being put on the table, and people purchasing way above list price, which we'll get into later. Like, it's been a very, very hectic market, and it's always, well, for at least the last couple of years, it's been in favor for the sellers. So for you to be representing buyers and then get their offer accepted, the first time from in most of your cases, that's a great achievement. That's notable right there. So great job. With that being said, yeah, we
Thank
have to
you.
dive into your system. With that being said, we got to find out what's the secret sauce behind that. But good. I want to talk about where you do your business now. So we gave all this insights to your business, but where? Describe your business geographically. Where you do it, the city, the state where you're licensed, how you describe the culture, the weather, the people, the environment, the attractions. Please go ahead.
So I'm a unique realtor and I actually cover the entire state of Michigan, but my
Hmm.
main areas of focus are Southeast Michigan. I used to live near Royal Oak, and I also have property up north. So I cover those two distinct areas, mainly
Hmm.
being Oakland County and Kalkaska County and the surrounding counties around there.
Gotcha.
They're very diverse markets. There's some similarities, but there's a lot more differentiating between the two markets. So
Hmm.
it's really important that as I'm talking to clients, people from downstate looking to move up north and sell their house downstate, they're going to have a little bit different experience than someone who's looking to sell their house up north.
Right, right,
And the
right.
market is now starting to shift. So we are starting to see properties sit on the market a little bit longer and price reductions happen more frequently.
Hmm.
But, put under the what I've done as far as achievements, the houses that I've been selling, and this really comes down to the strategy I put into place, they've all been selling quickly and we've been having bidding wars despite the fact that the market's shifting.
Interesting. So another thing I want to kind of clarify: me being in Michigan, us being
Mhm.
located in Michigan, so we kind of know exactly what you're talking about firsthand. Just for clarification purposes, Michigan has an Upper Peninsula and a Lower Peninsula. And when you
Yeah.
say up north, are you talking Upper Peninsula?
No, I actually don't cover the Upper Peninsula.
Okay.
That's still quite a drive for me.
Hmm.
But I do cover Northern Michigan, and Northern Michigan really it depends on who you talk to. So people that live downstate, Northern Michigan could literally be anything north of Lansing. And
Mm.
then for me, we've got property up east of Traverse City. So up north, I kind of all the way up to about Mackinac City.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, which is very, very up north, especially
Yeah.
compared to where we are here in Lansing, Eden Rapids area, mid Michigan area. So I 100%, as a Michigander, I understand, but just wanted to put that out for there for clarification purposes. We say up north. Some people may assume the Upper Peninsula, but that's almost a whole nother country. It's almost a whole nother state, but that's a whole nother conversation. But thank you for clarifying that, Lisa. That's so
Yeah.
funny. So yes, you were given information on the pricing. You say the pricing has
Mhm.
dropped a little bit. The days on market has increased slightly, but no dramatic changes or anything. Or how would you say it
Mhm.
changed since the beginning of the year? So as we're starting to wrap up 2023, how do you say the market has changed since the beginning of the year?
Well, it really just is seeing more properties take longer to sell and have price reductions. That
Right.
was a thing that wasn't unheard of over the last couple of years.
Hmm.
So I think some of the other bigger differences between the two markets is downstate, you have a lot more of subdivisions where you have, they might all be colonials or they might all be
Mm.
bungalows kind of mixed in with some colonials. But up north, you have such unique properties. I mean, you literally could have $1 million house sitting next to a cabin. And there's also a lot more acreage up north.
Hmm.
Downstate, you're kind of packing in it's a consolidated neighborhood. So oftentimes people have a quarter to a half an acre. Where up north, it's a lot more typical to see an acre plus.
Nice, nice. A lot more
Mhm.
land, a
Yeah.
lot more rural areas, country areas. It seems like it is, but nonetheless, you hear it being in Michigan and specifically downstate. I'm hearing you say downstate a lot, so I didn't even know it was referred to as that. But being in the downstate area of Michigan, you hear a lot about people saying, "Oh, it's the summertime. We're going up north to our
Mhm.
cottage, to our cabin," and that just based on what you described also it just shows that that's that area where you can go up there, get that peace, get that
Mhm.
tranquility, and separate yourself from others, go to the lake house, or just take your family and just enjoy some peace. So as someone who's been in Michigan his whole life but never been up north per se,
Ooh.
that's something I have to look into myself. But thank you for describing that. You paint the picture for everybody here.
Yeah, you'll have to make a trip up. It is noticeable just on the energy alone. There's such a
Mm.
hustle and bustle and a fast-paced energy when you're downstate. And literally when you get north of Saginaw bridge, it's just all of a sudden everything just calms down a little bit.
Interesting. Interesting. Thanks for painting that picture for us, Lisa. So I see most of your real estate content is video oriented, which I believe is very, very important, especially in today's digital era on the
Yeah.
social media platforms. And you share it across multiple platforms. I see you're covering YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. What made you push more towards video production for your content, and how do you measure the ROI that you get from publishing these video posts?
Yeah, so the reason why I started it is people are visual. I mean, it starts with people look at pictures, before they even go tour the home. And what better way to really tell the experience and the story of the home than to create a video for it?
Hmm.
So I feel like the buyers are really able to experience the home on a whole nother level. And the more buyers that are interested in the home, the higher the price I can actually get from my sellers. So both people are really happy about it. And if you noticed any of my listing videos, I actually will create mini movies. So I
Hmm.
dress up, create little scripts. And
Yeah.
the goal of that really is to get the most amount of eyes on it. People love sharing those videos. It's not your typical, I'm just going to stand in the kitchen and show you the bathrooms
Right.
and the bedrooms. I mean, you want to watch this thing. And oftentimes people say, I watched your video like 3 or 4 times. So I love hearing that. And when I'm doing open houses and talking with, potential buyers for my listings, like you actually see this light spark up in their eyes when they start to talk about it. And I love that because it's something that you just don't get in the real estate
Hmm.
world. So
Hmm.
that's exciting for me. As far as tracking everything, I mean, I've got all kinds of technology that tracks
Right.
and records all of this data, but for me, when I can sell a house and currently where the comps or the other homes that have sold are, if I can actually get my seller more money than any of those homes, especially if their house doesn't have as much money put into it as far as upgrades or updates,
Hmm.
that to me is worth every penny I spend on making videos.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. Watching your video definitely intriguing. Definitely stands out from other types of videos that you see, especially from the typical real estate agent. And I'm glad you pointed that out because I mean anyone could just make a video either with their phone nowadays,
Yeah.
or you can pay someone to come in and do a video. But to really take the extra step and put some creativity behind it is I think is very key. And like we said, it
Mhm.
makes it stand out amongst other content that people can just scroll past anyway. And I look at it as this. You're probably like the second, maybe third agent that I've seen actually turn a listing into like something creative with the video content. Like there was another agent that did the same, and I like it because
Mhm.
you're working with this blank canvas. You have a stage and you can essentially do whatever you want with it. So how are you going to highlight the key features of this property as well as just making your video just stand out overall? So I love what you do, and I'm glad that we had a chance to highlight that also because it's obviously working for you. And that has to be one of your secret sauces in getting that first
Mhm.
offer accepted too, right?
Well, people think that we're realtors and we're selling homes, but really, our job, we're marketers. We have to be able
Mm.
to market a property and make it stand out from everybody else because when you put your house on the market, you're actually entering into a competition. And why and how can you get buyers to buy your house as opposed to the house down the street?
Yeah.
That's my job. I'm looking for that buyer who's going to pay more money than anybody else and write an offer on your house and get it sold.
And that's well said because even if we could look at that even on the buying side,
Mhm.
on the
Yeah.
buyer side, like even when you're putting in an offer, you're kind of marketing like their offer to the seller in a way.
Oh,
So you
yeah.
have to find a way to creatively make that stand out amongst other offers too. So that was like a light bulb that just went off for me. I love the fact that you highlighted we're marketers, not just real estate agents. So well said right there, Lisa.
Yeah, and it's not just about the terms that you're putting in your offer to get them accepted. You've
Correct.
gotta have exceptional negotiating skills, and it
Mm-hmm.
starts with those conversations and talking with the other agents on the other side. And
Relationships. Yep.
yeah, it's absolutely about the relationships that you're building, but more importantly, making sure your client is protected through that entire process.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Love that. Love that. Covering all bases right there. You have a list of 6 mistakes you say most home sellers make while listing. I'm just
Yes.
briefly run through them real quick. Getting emotional, pricing, timing, fixing minor problems, not staging, and not preparing. It's a little bit of a mouthful. Some of them are self-explanatory, but which of these mistakes you feel like is the most common? And can you talk about a time where you prepared your client to cover all of these bases before they listed their home?
Well, I'm going to back up for a second. And just to clarify, I can sell any house. You don't
Mm,
have to do any of these. But if you want to get top dollar for your house, there is a strategy that we put into place. And I want to basically stack everything in your favor. So I will oftentimes do a pre listing appointment where I'm sitting down with clients before they spend a dime on fixing up their house. This is crucial. We need to meet so we can take a look and find out, are you going to put in a $50,000 kitchen and then find out that the comps or the other homes that have
mm-hmm,
sold don't even allow for that price point? So
mm-hmm,
you've gone through the time, the money, and it's obviously going to put you into an uncomfortable living space when you're doing a remodel. So is it worth it? So
yeah,
I like to sit down and talk with people and help them put together a to-do list. And most of those items, I mean, I countless times I've met with sellers and they said, well, we were planning on doing X, Y, and Z, and you helped us narrow it down so we didn't have to spend the money. We didn't have to waste our time doing it. And then we still were able to sell our house for top dollar. Many of these people selling like with neighborhood records.
yeah.
So I think that's important. I think the first well, I don't know. They're all equally important. I think staging though has definitely had the most powerful impact. I remember one
Mm,
specific client where, we had talked through a short to-do list. Painting was one of those items, but they just didn't have the funds, the time, or the energy to do all of the fix-it items that I had suggested.
right.
So, which is okay. We can sell a house in any condition, but
Mm-hmm.
we staged it and it looked so phenomenal that we actually sold that house for more money than a house down the street that had a fully remodeled kitchen.
Wow. Oh, wow. I that would make me feel some type of way if I was the neighbor and I upgraded my kitchen only to find out the person that just staged their home got
Yeah.
way more than that is insane. That is insane. But that goes to
Yeah.
show the importance of some of the key things that we said earlier today, how much that plays in listing your home though, correct? As well as having a great agent.
Yeah, it really comes down to who the agent is that you hire,
Correct.
what kind of marketing they're doing, because then again,
Mm-hmm.
that's our job. It's yes to sell your house, but it's how are we marketing it and how are we finding that buyer who's willing to pay any more? And how are you negotiating? When you get multiple offers in, how are you able to negotiate and get the most amount of money for your client?
Correct. Correct. Well said. So we talked about something earlier. I want to bring this in now. We talked about something earlier in regards to interior appeal versus curb appeal. And
Yes.
you chose interior appeal over curb appeal, right? And we broke this down a little bit, but I feel like this plays a role in this too because that staging is part of the interior appeal. So,
Yes.
can you talk again a little bit in length as to why you would favor interior appeal over curb appeal? And do you have any examples of you actually selling your home with a better interior than curb appeal?
Yeah, oftentimes, I mean, everything is important again, but
Hmm.
with curb appeal, outside of major fixes, you can usually just put a couple of pots outside with some flowers in it and keep it very simple as far as the curb appeal on the exterior. But the
Mm,
interior, you're just really spending a lot more detail and time on bringing in a stager, having that set up because they're really setting it up as a blank slate. Oftentimes people think that leaving their house with all of their decorations and things will help sell the house. And ultimately, those decorations, while they're very important to you, they can be oftentimes distracting for the buyer walking through. And so the stager's job is to set it up to make it look like everybody can feel like they could live there.
Mm-hmm.
And, with all these DIY shows coming on, everybody wants a certain look.
Correct.
And I can't tell you how many times buyers have walked through and they actually said, I want this furniture. And good thing is, most of that furniture they actually can buy.
Really? Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Okay, so I'm glad you put it in perspective because, like I said, I've had to talk with guests before who choose curb appeal over interior appeal. Now, obviously, there's no wrong answer here. I
Mhm.
see the science and the reasoning behind both, but I 100% I feel like I'm leaning more towards the interior than a curb appeal because that's where you stay. That's where
Yes.
you stay. Now, when people drive by, they are going to see the outside, but I
Yeah.
feel like it's a lot easier to get the outside fixed, like you said, than it
Mhm.
is for the mini rooms and things that go on the interior. So, well said. Thank you for kind of skewing me
Mhm.
over more towards the interior side because I see it now. I see it more now.
It's where you're
S-
spending all your time. It's where you're living. So that's
Correct.
important.
Correct. Speaking of visuals, anyway, your YouTube channel is consistent content covering current listings all the way to tips for buyers and sellers, investors. You cover a lot of different bases with your YouTube content. Random question. I'm interested
Yeah.
to see what you think about this. Why should more people in the market look to work with agents who do have a presence on YouTube?
It's a very easy way for people to get to know you. They can sit in their home and watch my videos and get to know me personally because of the content that I share, which helps them make a better decision of who do they want to hire when they work with someone.
Mhm.
Versus somebody else just calling them up and saying, hey, let me go show you a house. They know a little bit more about my style. I've got reviews from past clients. They can see what
Mhm.
they're having to say. I mean, you really get a broad spectrum view on how I interact with my clients.
I love that too. I feel like YouTube is one of those personal platforms where, obviously videos are favored on YouTube, but when you're putting them on YouTube, it's more of you giving, explanation, more detailed information on the properties, like you said, also giving more information about yourself. And then if you want to, you go into those other areas, like you said, giving just random tips to buyers, sellers, investors, giving market
Mhm.
updates, that type of thing. Now, it can work well on regular social media platforms, but YouTube is made for the long form content, so you can go in a lot more details, and people are almost expected. It's technically a search engine too. So when people are typing certain questions or want to find out answers or want to look up a listing, they can go to YouTube and pull up an actual video that will assist them with any information that they're looking for. So I'm glad you broke it down that way. It may have seemed like a random question, but I think it has a lot of merit behind it because it literally explains this is the place that you would go for more detailed information and the visuals behind it. So
Yeah. And
thank you.
I try to keep a balance with my YouTube channel. There's definitely a lot of real estate information, but I
Yeah,
also
yeah,
do
yeah.
fun videos about, why would you even want to buy or sell a property up in northern Michigan? Like, what is the draw? What are some fun things to
Mm.
do downstate too?
Mm-hmm.
It's why would you want to live there? So I'm definitely trying to convert everybody from wanting a sunset view to looking at sunrises.
Ooh, nice, nice, fancy, right? Speaking of living choices, though, condos are a choice for people
Yes.
to live. Um, but I don't know if everyone sees a condo as an option. So
Mhm.
they are an option, especially if you are having trouble purchasing your first home. Can you tell us why someone should consider a condo as a first time home if they are not able to reach an actual single family within reason?
Yeah, so let's clarify with condos. Everybody kind of has an idea of what a condo is, but they
Yes.
also make detached condos or like a duplex style condo where there are basically two homes that are connected by one wall. So with a
Mm.
detached condo, it is literally a standalone house. The advantages to purchasing a condo would be if you don't have the time or the energy to take care of the exterior of a home. Most all condos, the exterior is covered by your HOA fee. So if you're considering a condo and, say you work full time or you have even, some type of a job like doctors. Oftentimes they're working really long hours. When they're done with work, the last thing they want to do is go around and fix the outside and rake leaves and kind of play in the yard. They don't have the time
Good
to
point.
do that. So
Mhm.
a condo is a great option for somebody. Maybe they're elderly, they don't have the physical strength to work on the outside. When you own a condo, you're responsible for the interior. Now, keep
Mhm.
in mind, every condo association has a different set of bylaws, meaning the rules that you have to apply, and also what is covered. Some
Mm.
condo associations cover the deck, some don't. So it's really important to dive into those bylaws and see what is covered, what isn't covered. And also, something a lot of people don't keep in mind is what is their reserve cash on hand. So you want to look into that because you could get into a condo. In fact, there was one client I have, they were investors and they had bought in already numerous condos in this complex, but the
Mhm.
condo association was underwater and they knew it, and they were actually sending out letters and they didn't have enough funds. I mean, you imagine, let's say you've got 15 buildings and they all of a sudden need roofs. Well, if you don't
Mm.
have the cash reserves in hand, then every single homeowner is going to have an assessment put on top of that HOA fee. So, there's definitely things to
Mm.
consider, to figure out what is their plan. Oftentimes the well-run condo associations will put on roofs. So let's say they have 15 buildings. They'll do 5 this year. They'll do 5 next year. So they stagger it out so they never get hit with an extravagant amount of a cost.
That is interesting. That's cash reserves with the
Yes.
condo association. I had no idea about that. And that's new information here. And we're
Yeah.
glad that you give that because we don't necessarily think about that. Now with the condos, yes, you do have an association, like you said, that would take care of the exterior. You're still
Mhm.
responsible for the interior, the upkeep, and things of that nature. But you usually don't have to worry about shoveling or cutting the grass or things like that. But then, like you said, you also have to make sure certain things are aligned and
Mhm.
in your favor, like the cash reserves, like you said. So
Mhm.
thank you for explaining that. That's absolutely new and some new nuggets here on the closing table that we can learn from when you're considering a condo. So
That's
thank
why
you.
you want to hire a realtor, because honestly, there are things
Absolutely.
that what you don't know. What's the saying? Sorry, I'm gonna have to slide that one back a minute.
Uh huh.
You don't know what you don't know.
Facts.
So that's why you hire a realtor, so that they can actually guide you through that process. Because if you don't know the questions to ask, you don't know what you could be missing out on.
Correct. Correct. 100%. 100, and that's why the agent is there. You are also a host of a podcast, which is why your audio and visual is coming through so clear. The Royal Oak Chamber of Commerce podcast is something that you are also a host on, and I see they feature local business professionals discussing various topics. Very interesting when I found this platform. As one of the hosts on the platform, can you tell us what the value of this podcast is for the specific Royal Oak community listeners?
Yeah, so it's called the Rock Pod, and we
Mm.
love doing this. This is going on our second year, almost our third year, and we bring in Royal Oak Chamber members, and really, it's ultimately you do business with people that you know, like, and trust. So this is just another platform to allow the general public to really get to know you on a more personable level. So we talk about their business a little bit more in depth and oftentimes find out what they're doing when they're not working.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. I think more towns should incorporate this. As
Yeah.
as I saw it, I was like, this makes so much more. And I'm almost at the point where I feel like they should have them like on the radio. Like it should be
Yeah.
broadcasted to the cars in the community, knowing what's going on with the businesses, the business owners, just community news, infrastructure, all of that. So the fact that you created this platform, or at least you're a part of the platform, I should say, and you're doing something like this, I was like, this is a great idea. I think other cities should incorporate this same type of concept. It makes so much sense.
Yeah, and if anybody is interested in looking into it, John Guy, he's actually the podcast guy.
Mm.
Jag in Detroit, he is phenomenal. He makes us all sound good. And if you guys are interested in doing a podcast for your city or town, definitely get in touch with him.
Yeah, the pod god. Yeah, well said right there. You wrote a book recently also, Lisa, Mastering the Art of Home Selling, 11 Strategies to Maximize Your Sales. Now, can you give us a brief synopsis of some of the key factors to maximize sales without telling us too much? Because we want people to actually go and download and get the book, but and also tell people why they should get a free copy. It is free also, right?
It is free. What's better
Please.
than free? Well, I think like when you go to sell a house, there's so much involved with it that it's really important to have a plan before you sell your house.
Uh-huh.
And I've done this so many times that I literally have a strategy and I want to kind of clue people in and help them understand what is important when they're going to sell the home.
Mhm. I love that because just like we spoke on before, you obviously have a strategy that works even on the buying side, but like you said, your perspective as a listing agent, you're seeing yourself more as a marketer. But regardless, it's working. It's working. It's been working for 7 years. So I like that you're putting this inside of a book that people can get
Yeah.
for free at that. So you're giving away free game to people. They can just go and download it, and it can help them with their listing if they are looking to get in, take advantage of this seller's market that we're experiencing right now, which we don't know how long it's going to go, how long it's going to last. So I highly encourage, if you are considering selling, that you would do something like grab you a great agent such as Lisa and also get a copy of her free book, which tells you the types of things that you can do to help get your listing at the top of minds, get it in front of people and things like that. And also you also explain 6 different mistakes that people usually make, and they can also incorporate that. So you cover a lot of different bases when it comes to listing. You also gave away some of your keys when it comes to actually buying, getting your offer accepted. So well said, Lisa. Thank you so much for coming to the closing table, accepting our invitation. At this point, if you have any last words and or want to tell people how to reach out to you, the floor is yours.
All right. Well, thank you guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to use me as a resource. You can find me on my website. It's soldbylisab.com and all of the social media sites, Facebook, YouTube, all at Sold by Lisa B. And if you want to call me directly, my cell phone is 248-981-3610.
Yes. Lisa B. Make sure you reach out to her. Thank you again, Lisa. We appreciate it. And for our YouTube audience watching right now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, do us both a favor and hit the like button, please. And thank you. Make sure you also share the content and subscribe to our channel. And if you are listening on Apple, Spotify, or any other podcast platforms, please do the same. Give us a like, give us a 5-star rating, and subscribe for our latest content. Lisa, I like to leave our audience with a question before we leave. That way we can get their brains turning. How do you feel about purchasing a condo for your first home? And if you have, what was/is your experience, and would you recommend it? Don't tell us now. Leave it in the comments below. Besides that, we'll talk to you next time.